Hello guys, my name is M.Irvan Hardika N, student ID 005. I'm from Management Paralel 2017. I want to reading the magazine is Adrift. New York, technology has upended the business model of the world's advertising giants, in building the world's largest advertising company over the past 30 years. Sir Martin Sorrell, chief executive of WPP, has weathered to recession and survived a global financial crisis. His firm nearly went bankrupt in the early 1990s. Now, he must make his hardest advertising pitch yet to convince the corporate world that image-making agencies like his are not dinosaurs on the brink of extinction. The world advertising giants are struggling to adapt to a landscape suddenly dominated by the duopoly of Google and Facebook. Some of their biggest clients, such as Procter and Gamble, P&G, and Unilever, are also being disrupted in their case by smaller online brands and by Amazon. They are cutting spending on advertising service and also building more capabilities in-house. Consultancies with digital expertise such as Deloitte and Accenture are competing with agencies' argument that they know how to connect with consumers better and more cheaply using data, machine learning, and app design. The resulting picture is an industry under siege. WPP just had its worst year since the financial crisis, with declining revenue from like-for-like operation stripping out revenue from accurate business and slightly reduced profit margin. This year, the company projects that organic growth will be flat, compared with 5% or so in better times. Its big rivals, including American Interpublic Group and Omnicom Group and French Public Group, have registered anemic growth. Public posts 0.8% growth in its like-for-like operation in 2017. Investors are losing faith none more so than WPP, who have driven the company's shares down by 23% since mid-February. The ad giants have conventionally made much of their money from huge fixed contracts with clients, which look in long-term relationship with multiple agencies. Their holding company structures include famous creative firms that design and make ads for TV and other media, but also a host of other businesses that bring in the bulk of their revenue, such as media buying operation, digital service, brand consultation, and public relations. This month, Mark Spitzer, chief brand officer of P&G, critiques their model as a operation that is archaic and overly complex in an era when campaigns and ads need to be designed and refined quickly across large platforms. Technological forces are buffering this model. The first big challenge is designer mediation. Despite the growing backlash against the tech giants, Google, Facebook make it easy for firms big and small to advertise on their platform and across the internet via their powerful ad networks. The American advertising market grew by around 3% last year to $196 billion, but only because of the tech giants. Moffett-Nathanson, a research firm, estimates the Google and Facebook ads accounted for more than $5 billion of growth in advertising spend, and for almost 90% online growth or forms of conventional advertising apart from outdoor strength. The second headset is the rise of ad-free content for consumers, especially on Netflix, and the responding disruption of ad-supported television, which has declining 5 shifts globally. These hard agencies because the biggest client, including the manufacturer of customers' goods, beverage, and pharmaceuticals use television the most. Planning campaign and creating 30-second spots for television is people-heavy, high-margin business that the agencies dominate. In America, television advertising sales fell by $40.9 billion in 2027, or 7.3%, to $61 billion, according to Magna Global, which is owned by Interpublic. That is biggest such drop in a non-recession year in 2 decades. Third, Amazon e-commerce might and the growing crowd of internet era direct-to-consumer apps have weakened. The distribution muscle and pricing power of the advertising giant's biggest client. In American dollars, Save Club, a razor startup, significantly dented the market share of P&G's Gillette brand in just a few years, forcing price cuts. Consumers' goods companies are responding to such margin pressure by cutting spending on agencies. P&G has cut agency fee and production costs by $7,050 million in 3 years and expect to cut at least another $400 million. Such cost decline among clients is driven partly by the influence of 30 private equity investors like 3G, the Brazilian owner of eBay InBev, the world's largest brewer. It also stems from perception that the agencies have exploited their capacity to boost billings. In 2016, an advertiser trade association issued a report accusing the agencies of using a peculiar practice, including in digital advertising, to extract higher margins. The holding firms strongly disputed the findings, but the report prompted many clients to review their contracts with agencies and insist on more transparency. Nonetheless, some of the advertising holding companies whose may prove less threatening than fair. It is far from clear that Google and Facebook will discriminate against it in the long run. The agencies are the programmatic buying of digital ads for clients, WPP, the only holding company that discloses its spending on the two giants spends about $7 billion of its client ad budget with Google and Facebook in 2017, out of combined $46 billion in advertising sold by both companies that WPP consider agency-relevant business. That is not counting small business advertising. Sir Martin said that market share is not dissimilar to WPP share of a business with Commerce and Disney. Spot of brother, Facebook recent troubles over data privacy cloud that a regulation crackdown the concern, but in Google, potentially opening up the digital advertising market to more competitors. Facebook market share in digital ads in America is forced to dip this year for the first time. The more options there are for placing ads beside Google and Facebook, the more likely advertisers are to seek the help of agencies. Sir Martin argues that the budgetary pressures that have forced its client to cut back on advertising are a classical problem, not like the structural challenge posed by technology disruption. He believes that big brands will invest more in advertising to protect their position in those markets. Some analysts agree with this Ross view. Agency executive future argue that digital consolidation will not be treated to their core advertising business because they mostly compare for different lower cost service. In private, however, a senior executive at a rival at holding firm rejects much of this option. Technological disruption and dissemination, he say, will only deepen the efficiency of target digital ad means companies can spend less for the same outcome in branding. The advertising firms the responding by hiring way talent, acquiring business, In 2015, Publicsbouw spent a digital consultancy for $3.7 billion and gradually changing how they make money. Their plans mostly boil down to things investing in digital service and consolidating their concession of business so that they can provide a range of service to one client more cheaply under one account. That should be more than enough to keep them alive. Everybody says that we are dinosaurs, but we are not. We are cultures, explained Reset Tobacoa, Chief Growth Officer for Public. We know how to scurry around. We hide out in the corner. We figure out where the food is. We constitute ourselves. Okay, thanks for your attention and goodbye.